Amitabhva kukhanya kungaphakathi. Ake sikhanyiseke futhi sibone ukuthi abantu amehlo ayavuleka noma kwenzakalani. Inzima-ke abantu bakini indaba yenu ngoba la olwazini ayi kunzima kusinda kuyehlela. Kanti nasekulaleleni futhi impela ayi anitholakali. Futhi noma senilalelile ekwenzeni, kunzima. You will not listen and you will not act. So we are sharing information, but ikhona leya nto esindayo ukuthi no, but you can tell them all these things, but bazokwenzani kunini? Because they see no agency, they see no reason to act. Asiboni, we are okay, we are comfortable, we are complacent. But anyway, bengifuna ukukhuluma ngale ndaba yalapha e-Middle East kancane. Because when we talk about these things and you people don't catch it. So let's examine the situation since it's on our focus njengamanje. Laba balwayo laphana whom we assume ukuthi ultimately they are supposedly brothers and sisters. The one tribe is a tribe of Esau, the other tribe is a tribe of Jacob. But iy'ngane zika-Abraham zombili. So that's neither here nor there because we don't want to discuss their identity issue because mase uyilandela futhi uyathola ukuthi no, these people bazenza abantu whom they know very well they are not. Because when you look at the origin of these people who we call Jews today, you quickly find ukuthi no, man, these are people who were Ashkenazi. Ashkenazi group of people is a different subsect of people that are coming from the cold areas of Europe, especially very much concentrated around Russia. And somehow they found and wormed their way into becoming de facto Jews. But the reality of it is that they are not even Jews, for that matter. If you really want to go and look at the tribe of Israel, they don't belong there. A lot of people have made a lot of fuss about that, but that's not what we are going to talk about. Mina ngifuna sikhulume ngale nto yeni because we are so religious and we are caught up in this God of Israel. uNkulunkulu kaJakobe, uNkulunkulu kabani bani. These are your guys. Abangani benu laba nibakhonzile. Senibakhonze for 1,000 years. Abanenzeli lutho. I always keep saying ukuthi ibuhlungu lento because la abantu abanenzeli next. But namanje uyabona nje u3 manje niyaphuma emasontweni. Umile emasontweni manje ngizodideka la YouTube ngiborekile ngizobheka ukuthi kuthiwani. But benisemasontweni just now. Worshipping these gods of Israel. And you never bother to examine him, the way they lay him out to be and the deeds that he has done on this planet. Nezinto aqhubekayo ukuzenza njengamanje, including le nto eyenzeka lapha, which you can trace back to ukuthi uyena kahle kahle wayeqala le nto. Uyena waqala waqhatha abantu. And then you ask yourself, kahle kahle kahle, uNkulunkulu onjani lo qhatha abantu? Because let's go back to that one. uBragod lona uJehova Yahweh uSathane. Usathane kahle kahle. The thing that you are looking for into Sathane uye kanye ngqo loya. Uthini uSathane? Ufike athi kuAbraham ngizokwenza isizwe esikhulu. Aphinde athi ngizonikeza izwe eligeleza uju nobisi. That land we find later ukuthi it's Canaan. You can read your own books because niyayifunda lezi ncwadi but aniyifundisisi. So uBragod usukela umuntu amthembise izwe eselivele ihlela abantu. Now you can't make this shit up. The supposedly all-powerful, almighty creator will say to people, listen, I will give you that land when there's people already there. Ahlulwe ukuthi no, I will make for you a piece of land ezoba ilento le engiyithandela yona. So he couldn't manipulate the ecosystem there or over there la kungekho occupied khona, or turn the desert into that particular land of milk and honey. Ayiphendule yena athi hambani inohlala lapha sengenakhela indawo. No. They must go. Bayofuhleka lapha kuma Canaanites. And this is where we are today. And you must examine that thing. What kind of a spirit was that one that says to people, go and become great in another people's land? What does it imply? Because those people are not going to welcome you. Even if they did, it is not acceptable or fair for you to come and set up shop endaweni engasiyona yakho. Consequently, we find ukuthi sukela ngalezo ikhathi hlezi belwa. That whole fighting between the Philistines and the Canaanites and the Jews, so-called Jews, iloku yaqhubuka lapha impi ayikaze icimbe. Because apparently Ubra Jehovah doesn't know the natural order of things. He doesn't understand it. So he made people do the unnatural thing and caused them to fight with each other. Now, I'm saying this because much later on, he comes back and he says, no, before ningene lapha Canaan, by the way, now my rules. These are the laws. Imithetho kabra Yahweh, Jehovah, uSathane wamaJuda. Uthi, ungayifisi into kamakhelwane. How? And, nobody bothers to ask, but you are saying we must not desire izinto zikamakhelwane. But here you are, uyosifaka ezweni lamakhelwane. We are running up the desert here, silobizela ukuya ezweni loju nobisi lapha kamakhelwane. Kanti ithini indaba? Which part of not desiring that of your neighbor? Hmm? Hey, ungabulali ungebi. Meanwhile, bayokweba izwe lama-Canaanites. Bayobulala ama-Canaanites ezweni lawo. And if you understand that story, then you will notice ukuthi how the whole colonization game was played. That story sought to make us accept ukuthi people who were invading our lands are somehow following the directive of God, uNkulunkulu. Ngoba kulungile makube njalo because kusho yena. But it should make a question in anyone onengqondo esebenzayo ukuthi no, but how is a supreme being unable in this vast planet with so much space to create a land that will accommodate his own people? If he's so choosy and choosing of people, why doesn't he take it upon himself to allocate a piece of land engezukuphatha abantu, engezukuxabanisa nje athi azini ngoba la desert akho muntu, okay, ngizosika lo piece lo, ngizowunisa imvula, ngishintshe inhlabathi, ngilethe iy'nkomo, konke lento nginidalele indawo ezoba nokugeleza kobisi noju. Ningahluphi abanye abantu. Abanye bezwe ukuthi kunezwe God ngala. Bafise nani ukuthi baba yingxenye. Instead of saying to them, go niyophusha abantu la bahleli khona. Now, if you understand and follow the logic behind this whole thing, then it should tell you, no man, we are dealing with a very malevolent spirit. Ispirit sokona, umoya owonayo ukhohlakele. That should tell you, but you can't see it because you're so drunk in these narratives of the God of Israel. Nilibele ukuguqa phansi nikhonza. Abantu benikhonzisa uSathane, aniboni. Bese nithi hayi uSathane uyisitha, but no, it's the same thing that you are thinking, that you are worshiping. Injalo wefusi. Hey, ngakufisa kamakhelwane jiki. And then you go to another case there, because I mean I want to highlight these things for you so that you can get them, because I always talk about this and you're not receptive, you're not recalibrating your senses around it. And some of you find my channel very uncomfortable because anifuni ukuyibheka iqiniso njengoba linjalo, niyalibalekela. We go to that other section where he tempts Abraham again. Wakwathola kanzima lo Abraham, kodwa phela naye wakuyithwalo yakhe. So he's tempted to murder his own son, which is a prelude to a very long era of bloodletting that happens. Uthi Abraham, awubulale indodana yakho lapha, ungihlabele yona bese wenza umnikelo wokushisa. Ngitshele nje. Singayikhulumi ke yale emuva ko-Abela laba ababehle babulale ihlaba. But here you have an introduction to a human sacrifice. Ethi si-offer Jehovah. Lo nkulunkulu nithi niyamkhonza la. Hey, mina I'm a Christian, I'm a God of Israel. Hey. Uthi go and perform a human sacrifice, Abraham. And then the story is told as if ukuthi ke manje Abraham azange akwenza, okay, no, wajika because uBragodo wabona ukuthi intero. No, but that doesn't make sense. Because that whole action, it tells you ukuthi that spirit there is a mischievous spirit. Spirit is sokulinga. And then we go by definition there. Ukuthi hayi uSathane olingayo. But this somehow skips your mind. No man, Why is this God of Abraham so mischievous? Why elinga? Umlingelani Abraham? And it's very blatant there. It doesn't even try and blame any other spirit. No, it says, Ubra, God of Abraham himself, told him to go and murder his son. And then Jigi Jigi Waleti is Rab. And then the continuation of Bulawe Rab, which is symbolism of human sacrifice. So if you understand the symbolism and how it works, is that you can intend to murder your son, and then you replace that actual thing with something else. So you told Uti now that body of that sheep is representative of a human. So ubona benza imhlabelo lena nje, they are representing, you know, the same token applies when you are going to amaphasika lawa and you are taking nithini holy communion isidlo siyingcwele, where you find a piece of bread representative of the body of this person who was murdered. Yeah. If you people are so adept and very intelligent, then you should pick up. No, these animal sacrifices are still, in actual fact, symbolically human sacrifices. Oxeleke ngalokhu kodweni lo, uSatan. So all these people who are going around killing animals, what in actual fact you are doing is you are doing the substitution that was given to Abraham. Ukuthi you will use that animal in a pretense of murdering your sons. Bona abantu abamnyama bekubhizi behlabenyuka behlabane ney'nkomo ney'mbuzi nayo yonke into. They will not understand the spiritual meaning behind it. But then again, sometimes bathola ukuthi bayaku-understand kancane, but they don't really, because they would say ukuthi, I heard some Sangoma people saying, no, ukubuyiswa komzimba komuntu osowashona kumele kuhlatshwe isilwane. So uyathola ukuthi kukhona lo mqondo we-substitution, yabo. Bayayibona but abayiboni. Yona satanism-ke leyo. Nibheka ama-satanism all over the place, but niwenzani bo emasontweni? Oxele. And then, it culminates further into a very, very horrible event that took place. Uthi uBrakoti, go uyogcoba. Mind again, a bunch of lambs are killed, hence the holding of Passover. Bulawa iqabu, kuthathwa igazi leqabu. Nithathe igazi leqabu, niyigcobe emnyango. So you find this Amajuda who are supposedly captured and enslaved in Egypt. Babulale iqabu and then bagcobe igazi leqabu on their doorways, which was supposedly supposed to be telling i-angel kaBrakot ngoba ayibone emehlweni futhi ayinalo ulwazi. So kufanele ibone ngegazi lembuzi ukuthi no, hayi khona amaJuda la angidlule ngiyobulala, It's very strange, this one. Iyengena-ke le ngelosi le kaBrakot. Read your own text there. Khona amabhayibheli afundeni. I always tell you people, read these things because they tell you what these people have been up to all this time. Stop reading it like you are reading incwadi engcwele. Take the thing apart and thatha ipeni elibomvu and draw and take note of certain things and examine them. It's time to apply your intelligence. Nihlakaniphile, but you are wasting it. Lokhu daydreama ngezinto engekho. Thatha-ke ingelosi kaNkulunkulu izobulala iy'ngane la. And unashamedly, they are talking about killing firstborn children of the Egyptians. Izingane ezingenze lutho zizabulawa ingelosi kaNkulunkulu. Now, they should tell you, this guy is also a murderer. And then we are surprised ukuthi when his people come here basibulale basiqede nihambe sigijime siyothandaza kuyena. He does nothing about that. Gijima niyokhala laphana, hawu sasafa e-Africa, freedom, God save us, we shall overcome. Ulala nithandaza niguqa phansi nikhala iy'nyembezi. Khipho weshumi kokugcina ngci ninikela kubafundisi abagqoke ingubo ezimnyama, and then you wonder why there is no response for you. They just keep killing you. They keep taking from you. They keep doing all manner of things abayithandayo kumuntu omnyama, and umuntu omnyama is wondering how imthandazo emingaka engenza. In fact, I don't think you even wonder. You just keep doing it. You keep going to the churches. You keep pronouncing this God of Israel, who's been doing certain fuck all for you. And then you wonder why. Isn't it look, you know? So I'm trying to lay this foundation and background around what's going on in the world today. And you see that there is a flashpoint in that region these days. It's nothing new. Kade bakhathwa futhi basaqhubeka baqabana ngesikhathi eside, because people are doing izinto abazibona kahle ukuthi zi-unnatural ngoba bethi balandela ubrakot uJehova. I mean, what kind of a noble spirit will tell you to go and invade indawo la kuhlala khona abanye abantu? Hamba ungena makhelwane uthathe kube izwe lakho. Explain that. And it should be absolutely understandable that the Philistines will take up arms and defend themselves, because bazoyaphi. Angeke. But that situation in the Middle East is going to get worse, and it's going to involve everyone eventually. Ngoba more than 70% of you in this country are identifying as Christians or some form of Christian sect, and which means that you are worshippers of this God of Israel. And then when it spins off into a religious war, you're going to be sucked into it. I would say that maybe we need to step back. Step back from these things. Again, and let's mind our own business. We have too many problems to solve. Angasizi ngalutho futhi ngazo ubrakot. Akasilekelele uJehova, akasilekelele uYahweh. Akasenzeli lutho thina. Ake silehle kancane sibukele zidephuzane zizeqede. Ngoba vele abantu bakhe. So let him deal with these people. We should not even be bothering to be taking sides, because no ungayibheka from the side of Allah, he doesn't give a damn about black people. Those who practice Islam, they come here, they set up shop, they still abuse blacks. In fact, the very early slave trades were done by Arabs. Now, there's always a debate. No, at that time, they were not even Muslim. Yeah, okay. Sazike. But it seems that asinamngani thina phakathi kwalamagruphu amabili. Whether you are standing with Palestine or you're standing with Israel, akusibo abangani bethu. Asihlangene nabo. Kumele ke sibayeke nje bathi ukushayana basibadele. We have so many things to do. We have too much. And I would say maybe it's time we step away from the masjids and the churches and the synagogues. I think it's high time that we did that. Step away. And let's see. Ofuna thina uzosithola sikhona. I'll say, uma kukhona deity or noble spirit or what have you, ethi hayi-ke mina ngizosukuma ngithathe abantu abamnyama inkinga, let him come. So bona ngaye. That's the mentality we need to adopt. I always say this. Instead of ukuthi siyoyifuhleka siyokhonzisa usathane. Siyabona ukuthi usathane, but futhi at the same time, asiboni just how much confused we are. Anyway, that's my story about this one of Israel. Kufanele inkonzo kaNomvula kufanele ngoba vele labantu laba bakhonzela usathane. Ingakho kuba uhlezi bebulalana futhi bebulala ngesihluku. Into yabo ihamba nje nokubulala, wherever they go bayabulala. It's unfortunate. Just it is what it is. The evidence is there. Wherever you find them, they're either killing something or killing someone. Sebeze basifundisa-ke nathi-ke lokhu. You see izinto ezenziwa abantu abamnyama ezinyantisa igazi esingakaze siyibone. Every day you see something very striking. You're like, oh, okay. Always realize, no, okay, we have been inhabited by the spirit of Jehovah. And lezi zipirithi zoJehova yizo lezi zisikhiphe ubuntu. Senabo ubuntu ngoba we have adopted the spirits of osathane laba. Amadimoni lawa eniwakhonzayo. Nize niwabhalele iy'ncwadi ey'nkulu amabhayibheli lawa nihambe niwatshete la. Umuntu ebhadlile ekhanda ehambe esinde amabhayibheli. Hambe laphana kade ngibabuka nayizolo impela. Beqathula ngey'nyawo beshiswa ilanga. Namabheshu. Uphethe imigogodla amabhayibheli la. Hamba kuyokhulunywa ngogodi wesizwe esingasifuni. Satanism yonke. Khathali ngathini. The bottom line is Satanism yonke. Iyona lento-ke ababekhuluma ngayo babethi kuyoba khona yini le ndoda i-Antichrist. Yiyo ngqo le enikuyona. Yeah. Ayanda ngiyabona. Yeah, ake ngiyithulele. Engikhuluma kakhulu la ekhaya. But I think it's always necessary to try and weigh in these programs because when these things happen, most of you are surprised, but we always talk about these situations. Ningasithathi serious. But injalo should not come as a surprise, and everything that's going to happen afterwards. Inganthusi. It's supposed to happen that way. It's supposed to. And it's very unfortunate to get a path yethu of finding our own original thing is now being derailed and confused by this practice of ubungoma witchcraft. Hey, ayisasasha. Abathakathi zangoma laba sebephinduke ama-custodians of tradition. And then you check the tradition, you find, no, man, actually, this is not even African. Actually, this comes from laba bantu abamhlophe lapha ya. Yagenga kaMelin. So, kahle kahle ithini into ongathi? Ithini into ongathi? Azoshaya igubhu-ke laphana-ke bacule and then go into a trance. Basibuyele ney'tori ezinde, but really you find there's nothing really traditional about that. There's nothing concretely African about it. They're still forcing izinto zabantu. Badfokazana. And they're very stubborn about it. I mean, I always talk about it and always have a backlash, and I don't really care. But the bottom line is that whole sect of Ubungoma, Nyanga, witchcraft and magic, it has nothing to do with us. Ayihlangene nomuntu omnyama. Umuntu omnyama has a different origin. Umuntu omnyama has a different task to do on this planet. We have a different destiny. And we are being derailed by these nonsensical things that we are now engaged in. So since my traditional views la. Space namadlozoms. Allowing spirits to come in and invade us. No, it's very serious, that one. I always talk to people and they think it's a joke. We are a possessed people. I was looking at these children, babenza le mdanso yabo le amapiano and you notice that that whole thing is extremely integrated and intertwined with the whole alcoholism. Alcoholism, a lot of dancing. If you understand the spirituality, then you will see, ukuthi, man, hey, engathi sikwinkinga ka-Odysseus. People have been possessed by the spirits of those bathini le gang elandela Odysseus ngemuva. Ama-nymphs. Ama-nymphs are spirits who are extremely obsessive about certain things, whether it's dancing or drinking, music or sex. And those spirits are the ones who are possessing our people. Because, as you know, the cult of Jesus is the cult of Odysseus, who is the god of alcoholism and drinking and pleasure and having fun. And then we wonder why we are praying so much for our children to stop drinking and going to clubs, and the more they are going in there. We're drinking wine, James Emasontweni. Was it not Odysseus, Dionysus, sorry. Was it not Dionysius who went and made the water out of wine as well? Another malevolent spirit. You see, abantu have a lot of things that are happening to them, but they don't. Seemingly, we are very unable to pick up. Angazi noma ingoba singazazi izinto, or maybe siyanqena. I think maybe unqena. We are too lazy to do the work of thinking. So ubona ukuthi, oh, lezi ngane zipossesswa yama-nymph ka-Dionysus. Hayi. And the more the more we are moving towards the edge, njengoba iqhubeka iminyaka, you will see ukuthi they are now going towards a hypersexual zone. And this hypersexual zone is very indiscriminatory. And I want to say that people need to really guard their children because they're going to be victimized quite a lot. A very hypersexualized zone. Zidakwa utshwala, zidansa kakhulu, and now they're going to start having into ezingcolile in public. We are going to the space now where people are just going to go bavunguzane nje phakathi nemiphakathi. And we'll have to normalize that. And we'll have to accept that as something that is normal. And it's the spirits that are currently at play. And they are dominating the consciousness of Black people. And the things that I'm talking about, some of you know that it's already begun. Abantu unashamedly doing izinto ezingcolile quite often in the open spaces, especially during these things abazenzayo some groove on all those things. Now they're going to do it in broad daylight, and we'll see them doing that because these spirits that are possessing them are extremely hypersexual. But they don't know. So we go, I want to say it's always interconnected, because when you go to church to perform the rites of Dionysus, when the is the thing that you call the Holy Mass, and you invoke Upraje Dionysus, you invoke him in your activities there, and you eat the flesh and you drink the blood, it opens portals for those things to come out and go into your children and yourselves, because even abantu asebekhulile are extremely hypersexualized. This is the world we are living in. You can taste the hypersexual energy in the air. It's very thick. Everywhere you go, it's so hypersexual, indiscriminately. You're moving through ilokhuzana umhlaba. You are feeling like you're moving through a very thick, um, gooey substance because of these things that are being released, these energies, these hypersexual energies that are being released into the world. And you wonder why you people are so perverted. You are literally swimming in it. And because you will not relent going to these churches and synagogues, it is going to continue. I kid you not. You can look it up. You can look up Dionysus and his people. You'll find that he's always there carrying a chalice of what you call wine, drinking his wine, and behind him is always this very erect um, beings and women and men and half goats, half what, with erect phalluses and dancing and a lot of music. Nje. And a lot of the Greeks who were dabbling into that space, they know because these are the people who are operating and running their society and their communities. They know and they understand that we are literally living in a rebrand of those um, religious practices. They're not confused. They know there's no difference between what the Greeks were doing and what the Christians and the Jewish people are doing today. They know. They are very clear. And that's why it's seemingly very biased towards their kind and not ours. Injalo nje. Anyway, let's leave it there. Um, Inkonzo Kanomvula. Hey, shame. Mm. We will talk about who Unomvula is somewhere. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, we will talk about that. Who is Unomvula? The rain, because with all these things that happen on this planet, there's always a particular being that was assigned to a particular thing. But there has been a lot of photocopying and faking that has happened, and we have lost track of who's who. This is why when we try to invoke certain things, they know um, they don't show up. We can't move mountains anymore because we don't understand or know or know do we have a connection with the beings that were created to do that, you know. But then that's another story about the power of Umuntu and his creator spark, what his authority is on this planet and who his authority is supposed to be upon. We will talk about that as we go along. Hmm. Hmm. Anyway, Amitabhva, ukhanya okungaphakade, makube nani.